in relation to
Like
yours?
speak. I'm
Speaking.
gonna I'm gonna gain you up just a little bit.
Oh, I got a happy
Keep
surprise. I
going.
found out today that DaVinci Resolve Studio can activate on 2 different computers. So yay. I think I'm gonna do a fucking video while I'm
Yeah.
at my folks,
Hey, we're
which should be
live.
funny. We're
What is
live.
we got two people in. Two people. The nice, the intimate. It's the SM7B and the RE27.
Yeah.
Intimate and live.
Oh, wait a minute.
SR375.
There we go.
Oh, yeah, but then it's in front of you. It's kind of
Is it?
yeah. Well, it's not in front,
Oh,
but
yeah,
it
that looks
like
weird because it looks like I'm looking at the mic.
yeah.
That's weird. Let's
So
not do that.
now that we've got because we got SR375 in the house. Wow, we'll have 4 people. We'll let them come in. Let everybody come in. This is the last stream of 2024, guys. I don't know if that's obvious to anyone, but I just realized Christmas is like next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Dylan,
It's barreling towards us.
I'm guessing you're probably going to feel this way next year after being actually, let me turn this camera on. Next year after being like working on your own for a little while, right?
Yeah.
Next year you're probably going to realize something. And that is that Christmas, the build up for Christmas isn't there. So Christmas kind of almost surprises you. When I worked in radio, there's always a build up, right? Like, it's Christmas time, and you get into the feeling of it. And then when I worked as a Coca-Cola driver, everything, you hear the music in the stores, everything. Now that I work out of my basement predominantly, I am not impacted by anything Christmas related for sales. So to me, the season hasn't even started. I got the tree up and we're going to open presents on Christmas Day, but there's no like mounting urgency for Christmas. It's the weirdest fucking thing in the world, man. Like weirdest thing in the world.
I just find, excuse me, over the last couple of years, really, it's that shift has changed where it just seems like it kind of comes out of nowhere. Even, when I was working in radio up until recently, normally it's, you're right. Like we start talking about Christmas stuff in July, right? Like you see it coming a mile away, and recently it just, I don't know, maybe it's promo budgets not being great. I don't know what what the reason
money
is, but
leaking out of radio. Is that what you're saying?
Money repurposing. Money repurposing. But no, and so it's felt like kind of less and less of a deal. I mean, even like the parade stuff, I found like kind of eased down, obviously during COVID and all that stuff.
Pigtown says, Dylan, nice new camera angle. Love it. That's awesome.
Yeah,
actually, this is the record producer angle. You've got the records in the background.
Yeah.
One of them's Jeff Healy. The other one is
they're not. Those aren't mine. I can't. Yeah, those. I wish that they were, but they're not. I'm not going to be an ass. No,
that would be awesome. No, but one's Jeff Healy. What's the other one? Dire Straits.
Yeah, Dire Straits. Dire Straits, Brothers in
Arms. Yeah. So, the last stream of the year, it snuck up on me, and I feel bad that we haven't been kind of like discussing this. So hopefully nobody's like setting aside time between Christmas and New Year's to like hang on the live stream, because we're all going to be like just pressed busy. So Beresford, greetings also from the UK. Still upset that my football team lost, but life goes on. Who's your football team, Beresford? Who's the soccer team? If you don't mind the North Americanisms. The audio levels are good this week. Excellent. This is what I want to talk about.
Good.
So last week we got a complaint about the audio. Now I feel like the complaint was a little heavy-handed. Like it was like, this is unlistenable trash. I can't listen to this. And apparently everybody was unlistenable except for Curtis.
Nice.
And I think I know what had happened, right? So these live streams are not easy to pull off when people aren't doing the same thing and you don't coordinate beforehand. And because who I had in the building last week, we didn't have a lot of preamble time to really get into the settings and set things up. And there's a couple settings in the audio department on DC or on StreamYard and one of them is an audio balancer where one will like basically compress and limit the shit out of your audio and send it out. And I'm pretty it's usually is set up as a standard. It's on all the time. And that's why I was confused. I'm like, guys, I'm looking at the levels. Dylan's levels are fine. What the fuck is the problem? And what it was maybe mine would be on, Dylan's might have been on. And so I'm checking every time we do a live stream now with Dylan. Is that checked? No, because I found it's been checked for me every once in a while.
Yeah, sometimes like I don't know if they roll out a new build of the app or something.
There is a new build. There's new media assets and everything, and I think that's what happened. So I think last week it was me and Bandrew and Dylan all had it clicked. So yeah. So thank you
and also, you know, I like people. I think with that stuff too, people can be kind of, you know, a little bit heavy-handed, as you said.
Well,
I mean, like it goes like, oh, like Dylan's audio is utter trash. I'm like, it's a scratchy pot. Shut up.
Well, and this is the interesting perspective that I find with audio folk in general is like one, the live stream. I get it. This is an audio based YouTube channel, but the live stream is nothing about perfect audio and all this stuff. And it's also like, I mean, relax, man. Take the pull out of your ass and just settle down and relax and enjoy the content as it's being delivered. And I understand there's a lot of people in the audio industry that I can't take bad audio. And it's like, well, this is a live stream of basically a bunch of guys fucking around and having some fun. Even this one, like this is, yes, we try to maintain a minimum, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I mean, like, if Dylan gets a scratchy pot, I'm going to mock him for it. I'm not going to like kick him off the live stream. Man, I want to get into football, soccer, whatever it is, because I don't have. I'm a big snooker fan. I love snooker. I watch snooker. I'm actually thinking of getting DAZN just for snooker, nothing else. I can watch Ronnie O'Sullivan pot balls till the sun comes up. I love it. It's just amazing. I want to move to the UK just so I can watch snooker and play it too. I love playing as well. But I also want to pick up like I watch hockey, but I don't watch any other. I watch a little bit of baseball, but soccer would be the most natural sport to like get into outside of hockey. So I kind of want to pick out a team. I've got to pick one though. I have no allegiance, so it's hard. Please don't tap the mic. Is this on? God, dude, have we done that? Has that been us? I don't think we've done that. Have we, Dylan?
Other than not recently, I'm sure I've done it trollingly.
Oh, you just hit some internet lag.
Or just maybe moving my mic and not muting. Oh.
That was lag. I think Dylan's dropping out. Let us know who's lagging here, guys, whether it's me or it's Dylan. DJ Play Nice, it was barely worth mentioning, but we mentioned it. Yeah, that's us. Audio criticism during. Oop.
Oh, I couldn't understand what you were saying for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, Dylan, you are lagging like an SOB. Read the comments. It's all good, buddy. You catch up. It's all good. Audio criticism during a live stream is always wanted to make sure it's perfect. Just no reason to go overboard criticizing. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's also like if we have shitty audio, let us know. That's by all means, like hit us up. Don't telling somebody that's unlistenable is a little harsh. Although at the same time, on the to balance that out, I know that we're also an audio channel, so I get it. I get why it's there. Who's your baseball team? That's what my channel is all about. I am a Blue Jays fan. Google how to say snooker. Snooker. I'm Canadian. Am I saying snooker wrong? Because when I hear it on when I hear all the announcers, it's snooker. So I don't have an accent. I got a Canadian accent anyways. Liberty Dude says Aiden is trying to vote you off the island. Time for Lord of the Flies. Dylan. Dylan's not with us. I think you need a reboot, brother. I'm gonna text him while he's here. Just give me a second, guys. Let's text Dylan. See if he gets this. Oh, there he goes. Okay, so Dylan's going for a wee little reboot. Yeah. So I'm working on the accent. Let me blow through these. Dylan's leggy. Maybe quit downloading porn while streaming. Yeah, I don't know exactly what there was some lag last week, but it wasn't that bad. There was just, I think, one or two. All it takes is a little bump, or if you haven't rebooted your whatchamacallit, it can do that. Lol. I get no sleep. How's it going, man? I don't think I've seen you on a live stream. Pigtown Nice. I primarily cover the Orioles. Oh, you bastard. The Orioles are like the bane of our existence. Well, no, okay, it's in Texas. The Yankees. I do actually have a chance. I'm going to Boston probably in the next few months, and we're gonna go see a baseball game there. I love old fields, so I kind of want to do that. Pigtown's a small area in Baltimore, so named my channel after. Nice. Is 2G? Is it on 2G internet? Nice. Yeah, it's the corn downloads. Anyways, we're looking at kind of what's coming up for this year and things you may have bought. We'll be talking to you guys, see if you have something necessarily that you've purchased over the last couple, maybe the past year, or what you're planning on getting into the new year. Yeah. Oh, wait.
What's going
There
on?
he is. Are you on your phone?
Yep.
What died?
Internet. I don't know. You were fine, and then you're telling me to get the hell off, so I got off. And,
no, I didn't say get off. I said maybe you want to reboot.
No, you were coming through fine. It's just you couldn't hear me, and you were really laggy. Like about a minute before, like I couldn't understand what you were saying for like 45 seconds. It was just just little bits and pieces of stuff. And then so I refreshed and tried to follow the link again, and StreamYard won't connect. So it looks like there's some issue.
I think it was your internet. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm on data.
Are you hand holding your phone right now?
I am.
You have a phone holder?
Yeah. Yep.
Audio channel. This is our life right here, man. This is when you're at the mercy of internet, it sucks.
There we go. We're back. Hang on. Let me do this. We're going to do this. Hang on here. We're going to do this.
Oh.
And we're going,
guys.
There Yay. There
Damn. Someone was asking if it was 2G.
This is when you know it's live. You know that there's nothing about this that's fucking simulated.
But also don't like this is half the fun, I think. So SR375 says the only thing worth going to a sporting event is the hot dogs and beer. I get non-sport people. I do. I'm not a sport person per se. Like I'm not a big like go sports. I like the Leafs. I like the Jays. I love watching snooker. Like I played pool. I've actually gone down to Vegas for the world ranking tournament. Yes, I have, Dylan. So I've played that, and we used to play snooker when I was younger, but I watching is just, it's like watching chess. If you don't like it, you're going to be bored as all hell. But yeah. Thoughts on Vlad turning down 340 million? I think that was with the Jays, wasn't it? I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to play for the Jays right now either. Have you swapped your NTG for a shirt? Yeah. So there's a couple things I was doing. First, I've got this I'm working on a review for the Vocaster 1 that I picked up. I'm kind of revisiting it because I keep saying, hey, this is a great deal. And it's been so long since I used it. So I'm like, I should brush up on it. So I bought one because they're only like $70 in Canada. And I forgot, I'm like, was I too nice to this? Because man, these things are only good for podcasting. I can see why these things failed miserably. I like them, like they're great. But I would never put anything like the fact that it's got a limiter on it on the output, not on the input. So when you when you peak on this, you still distort as all hell, but the output limits to -3. Which is like, what the fuck is the point of limiting it on the output when you're still distorted as all fuck? What the hell? But yeah, so like there's little quirks about this that make me wonder, but then I'm like, yeah, for podcasting, this thing is awesome. But I would not put anything critical through that. That's for sure. So that's one of the reasons I had the SM7B hooked up. But I also like, I've gotten away from this, from having a mic in front of me. And I feel like I need to get back to my roots because I'm going to be perfectly honest. The best audio you will get is always going to be a mic in front of you. I did have the pod mic plugged in. This is my usual go-to. But the Shure was already hooked up, so I just went with it. But yeah, I think I'm going to start having a mic in front of me for the live streams and stuff, just because of the clarity of audio. I go back and I look at some of my older videos before I really started relying on shotguns for talking head videos, and I'm like, God damn, man, the audio is just so much better on like an SM7B, a pod mic, you know, whatever you want to hook up. If it's close to your mouth, it's going to sound better. Dylan, thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think it's annoying, maybe aesthetically, depending on what you're going for. But I think, I don't know, the MKH sounds great, but it's just something about that proximity. You just can't quite get that with a shotgun at a distance.
Well,
with processing, right? If you filter and EQ, like if you have that as an option, you could compensate a little bit. But if you're just going in just cold, you gotta, being close up is better, I would say, 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, and you're right. But in a relative treated room, so this is a relatively well treated room. It's not perfect. I've got open windows, still not open windows, but windows that aren't treated. I've got little reflection points. I've got large screens sitting right beside me, as you can see here. So it's not a perfect environment, but it's damn good. So I can use a shotgun mic and it sounds pretty damn good just on that alone. But like, I had to move my guitars that were right back here, and I've only got my one guitar set up because Big Boomy and Out of Toonie was resonating my voice.
Yeah.
So now I'd hear it, and I'm doing a and I'm hearing this like in the background while I'm talking, and it's being picked up by my shotgun. Where when I'm talking into this, you're not going to hear that. Like, you're not going to hear that at all from the SM7B, which is kind of the misnomer when people are like, what's the best for rejecting outside or for rejecting noise from around you? And everyone's like, buy an SM7B. It's like, well, yeah, you're not going to be able to reject a person talking beside you, but it will get rid of the ridiculous, like, you know, the ridiculous sounds like your guitar resonating.
Yeah, the little detail sounds, right? If you've got like another, like a noise source in your room, you know, like I just recently got a ton of treatment in this room, between some stuff that Aiden has lent me and some stuff that I got from my old work. This room's actually pretty treated now too, compared to
it actually sounds night and day better, actually.
Like tighter.
It's tight as hell comparatively.
Compared to
Action Podcast says, evening chaps, still loving my tighty whitey.
Nice.
That's that microphone, man, that will do you until the day you die. Here's a good question from Pigtown. Have you guys ever tried the Ethos? Yeah, that's the whatchamacallit mic. From what's your names? Too expensive. Probably not. It's hard. Like, I spoke to them and they're like, we're not dealing with small channels like you. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not spending my money on products like yours. Because it's just a mic that I'm going to buy and I'm going to put on the shelf. I have a reason to buy an SM7B. I have a reason to buy an SM58. But the money on those mics doesn't justify, because it's not going to be my daily driver. And like, I'll work with them if they want to like even if they want to lend it to me and I'll send it back. Sure. I don't need to keep the mic. Good God, I don't need more mics, but it's hard to justify, unless I'm getting 70,000 views on a video, justifying that amount of money to be put into a microphone. If I put a microphone out, reviewing it, and it gets 20,000 views in a month and a half, I don't make anywhere near enough money to justify that purchase. So it's tough. Action Podcast, Vocast 1 is exceptional for podcasting, but set it to streaming mode so the auto gain works correctly. Yeah. So one of the probably the best sales feature on the Vocaster series is the camera out. I shot my whole video with the camera audio, and it's awesome. And the output is actually not noisy, which actually kind of blew me away that you have an output like an analog output that's not noisy as shit coming out to go into your camera. And it takes your sum audio from all the channels on the Vocaster, so your loopback audio, all that, and puts it into the camera. That's actually incredibly useful for people. Like I can't even believe I didn't cover that when I reviewed the unit last time. I remember mentioning it, but I never really went in depth about it. So yeah, like there's a lot about this that I love, but man, that limiter is just wild. Yeah, by the way, guys, we're talking about while Dylan was gone there, things that you're looking at buying for this year or that you purchased in 2024. We're kind of doing a look back and look forward. I know I didn't get a lot of time to chat with people in the audience last week with the live stream, so I figured this might be a good time for you guys to weigh in. Pigtown Sports. My kid's iPad fell over as you were saying "God damn," and he heard it, and now my 2-year-old is running around saying "God damn, God damn, God damn." Yes, that's the best thing I could have said at that point, to be fair. Your 2-year-old is awesome, by the way. I'm just saying. KGO. Hello, I'm a 150,000 subs YouTuber. I've Rode NT1A and it's good enough for my content, but my dream mic and I love the sound of the SM7B. Should I make the investment and buy it? No. I mean, it's dream mic is relative, right? You're going to get, if you don't know how to process this. So by the way, the processing on this is everything going through the Rode. This is all through the Rodecaster video that I'm processing. And I've just got it on the SM7B. I literally just set it up with the SM7B and I just ran with it. It sounds pretty good. If you don't know how to set up an SM7B, you'll get a much better sound out of the NT1A. The NT1A is rather bright in comparison to the SM7B, so you're going to find a big shock if you just moved over to it. Otherwise, I mean, I say it about Neumann all the time. You're not going to find a studio that's going to get worse by owning an SM7B. Like, it's a great microphone to own. Is it going to be a relative waste of money? It might be. Dream mic and everything, I don't know. I don't think it's a necessary purchase for anyone.
Well, it depends too. What's the, I think the litmus test is what's the return going to be on that investment? Like that's a hefty price tag. Is it something that you're going to actually make money on and is going to become, a regular part of your workflow? Then no, it's not a waste of money. But if you're a hobbyist and you don't have, you don't think you're going to need to have the pressure of needing to make money with this, then there are cheaper options that you can get good results with.
Yeah, but and just so you know, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say if it's your dream mic, then yeah.
Oh, nice. Stupid dogs. I did pause when you said you have 150,000 subs because that doesn't necessarily mean you're making money. Bob, enough. I might have to go let my dog up. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're making money at the channel. If you're making money hand over fist, and go buy your dream mic, buddy. It really, if you're making decent money on your channel and you can justify that purchase, fuck yeah. Make sure you have a good interface. Make sure you have enough clean gain to push it, and start learning how to EQ. I mean, that's the best thing I can tell you. I don't know your content. I don't know how, like if you go live, not the best live mic, not going to lie. But unless you have some good DSP pushing it. So
I mean, you seem to be making out pretty good with it there, Aiden.
Well, I've got the Rodecaster video. Like I've got a Rode product that's got a preset for it. Yeah, I've got a preset for it. I didn't have to think about it, but if you're rocking like a Scarlett 2i2, you might struggle with an SM7B and making it sound great. If you've got something with onboard DSP, you'll probably have no problem with it. Goddamn. I love that. King Paco says that's my favorite interface. You know what? For podcasts, I would say like I said, this is $60 US. The Vocaster 2 is $99 right now. It's hard to go wrong for that. I wouldn't be producing any albums with it though. And yes, SR375 U87 is best. Just saying. Ignore the SM7B. Go buy a U87 AI. Links are in the description. I like it. I purchased the Rode NT1 Signature, not used it much, hoping for a new Streamer X type of device, HDMI and 2 XLR in. Since talking with the guys last week, I've been mulling over, like, we broke the Gen 3 barrier with Rode, which Rode Wireless Go 2, the Rode Wireless Go 2 was the first 2, if I recall. And after that came out, you started to see the other 2s come out. You saw the Rodecaster Pro 2 and stuff. I'm like, the question is, what are you going to update to the Rodecaster Pro 2? Like, what are you going to do? 32-bit float? Yeah, that's going to be coming. Like, there's not even a guess. 32-bit float's probably going to be coming on the Rodecaster Pro 2 or Pro 3 or whatever it's going to be called.
3.
But then you've got like the integration of bigger screens. You've got all this fun stuff, and then you've got maybe 1 HDMI in on it, maybe 2 HDMI ins on the Rodecaster Pro 3. I don't know, man. Like, it's funny because they'd be kind of eating one, but the Rodecaster Video is kind of like a production studio in one, right? Like, it's meant for if you're doing church service. This is perfect for a church with 4 cameras. Like, it's absolutely perfect for that. Yeah. It's perfect for large scale podcast productions that have 4 cameras. But it's not like, I mean, for somebody that's starting out a podcast, they're not going out to buy a Rodecaster Video. So I think maybe they find that middle ground on the next Rodecaster Pro. I think that's kind of the if you were to smush a Streamer X and a Rodecaster Pro together, that's my kind of guess for this year. And I think that would be cool. That'd be very cool.
That would be neat.
Pigtown, I went through like 7 mics this year because I was struggling to EQ my Rodecaster Duo, but settled on the Ethos. It took me months to stop EQing the 200 to 300 hertz. 2 to 3. You're looking for the mud. It's a little bit north of 300 hertz on most voices. So you're looking closer to 5. Yeah.
The crap.
Yeah, that's usually in about the 5 region. You can get stuck in that 200 to 300 region. I used to think it was around 250. It's not. It's closer to 5. Range and move it to the 900, and now everything sounds great. Oh, that was 200 300 hertz range to move it to the 900. Now we're okay. There you go. Vocaster one is definitely quirky, but a complete novice with an SM58 and a bit of good mic technique can get a very satisfying sound. I do hate the greasy touch marks. No Doritos before use. You already have them on this freaking thing. You can't really see it, but I've already got the marks here. It annoys me. And this thing, I was thinking about giving this thing away. I might actually I still got the box for it. I might actually finish the video and just like up on my Discord. So if any of you guys aren't on my Discord, maybe just join the Discord, because I'm not going to give it away on YouTube because it gets too toxic here. But I might literally just ship this to somebody as a Merry Christmas. Keep your eye on the Discord for that. The SM7B, I've considered it so many times that I remember my tidy whitey. If you have an SM58 and you are not on video and you don't care about the aesthetic of the SM58, don't buy an SM7B.
No.
Does the Rode Streamer X have mic presets? Yes, but they're not on the actual device. The presets are on the software that you use to set up the mics. So you can use it. Yeah, somebody else also said that. Okay, so we got KGO. Thank you. Yes, I make a good amount of money and I can afford it, but 1, NT1A sounds great on my voice. 2, I've Scarlett Solo and don't want to process it all because I should make my videos very fast. Do not buy the SM7B.
Yeah.
If your dream mic, and I'll say this to anybody, your dream mic is the mic that sounds good on you. If you can find a microphone, and I spoke out the MKH416 for me, I didn't have to do much with it. And one of the reasons I like that is because my post-processing, when I'm doing talking head videos, I don't need to sound like I'm in a voiceover studio. I know some people would love that, but when I'm working alone, if I'm ever able to employ Dylan, the first thing I'm going to tell Dylan is make me sound like God. But if that's not available to me and I've got to turn a video over in 2 days, the last thing I want to do is start going through all the EQ and going through all that. I'm just going to roll a video over and get it out as fast as possible. So find the mic that sounds great on you and stick with it. Don't buy the SM7B. 64-bit float is the future.
Oh my God.
I have a fine M8 Vocaster 2. I have a fine mate Vocaster 2. Nice. M8 or AM8? AM8. There it is.
AM8.
32-bit. So somebody mentioned this on one of the videos, and I think I've marked this up before. Somebody was like complaining because it was the Rode PodMic USB, and they're like, oh, they released it. And it wasn't. Maybe it was this. This isn't 32-bit, I don't think. Or is it? Anyways, I forget what it was, but they're like, oh, they released it with old technology because it was 24-bit. Good God. I don't like the sound of PodMic Procaster, and I think the SM7B is the best. Yeah, you know what? PodMic without processing any DSP, it needs DSP for it to shine. That's definitely all I'll say. That's one of the reasons I love the PodMic USB. But if you don't have DSP, yeah. But the same thing with the SM7B. I haven't used the Procast, or what is it the Procaster? I haven't used that in years. I can't even remember what it sounds like. So Shipman Media. What, I know that name. Have you been here, Shipman? Dylan? Sound familiar?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Welcome, Shipman Media.
Welcome.
Media.
If you've been here before, we apologize.
Yeah. I've got an SM7B in the original Rodecaster Pro. Still a viable setup with a cloud lifter? Yes. Very much so. If you don't have a cloud lifter, it's going to be a noisy mess. I do know that those preamps were kind of, they weren't the greatest, especially if you needed heavy gain. But if you're capable of like boosting it with a cloud lifter that has a better EIN, yes, and cloud lifters do have better EINs than the original. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Those original Rodecaster Pros, the Mixcast 4, those are still all viable for people that can't afford the big ass setups nowadays. Shipman Media says, very long time follower. Cheers, man. Thank you. I know I've seen the name before, so I guess you had commented on videos, but I don't think I've seen you on the live stream. Cheers, man. Thanks for commenting. It's nice to have more people jumping in on the live streams. Not that we don't love everyone that comes and talks, but it's always nice to see new blood kind of chiming in. So I want to purchase Rode PodMic USB other original one. Rode PodMic USB other original one.
Huh.
Cool. I have no idea. Action Podcast. I'm on video, but the look of a mic has never bothered me. I'm a chubby 40-year-old who sits in a cupboard. The look of my mic is the least of my worries.
That's amazing.
You know what? We need to normalize that, Action Podcast.
Yep.
We need to normalize that.
That's
I too feel your pain, man. I go to the gym just so when I put my arms out, there's some definition to something. Thilo Grim, how's it going, buddy? I've been using the Streamer X since 2 years, and there are no mic presets, neither on Unify nor on Connect app. I remember setting them up. Like I 100% remember. I'm going to get back to you on that. You might have to wait till the new year. I am definitely going to go into that and look, because I remember setting them up way back. It wouldn't be on the Unify. Unify was more just like a virtual expansion. But let me look into that. I'll actually, you know what? I'll comment on this video down below when I figured that out. I'll actually do that tonight. The voice of Empowered would love to try the Rode NTR. Oh, E-Powered. SR375. Dylan.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that is not where you put your paws.
Nice.
Oh,
that's a clippable
dude. I wish I could share that with you, SR375. If I recall, you're down the south there. If you ever come up to Canada in the Ottawa area, message me and we'll see if we can make that work. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Definitely message me and we'll see if we can make that work. It's not something I would mail out.
Nope. I don't want to do that either.
Do I like the PodMic and USB? Oh yeah, the PodMic. So here's the thing with the PodMic USB, and this is why this is like my go-to recommendation. You'll notice on my video coming out on Monday, this thing hits almost every recommendation. It's because the preamps in it for the USB are the same Revolution preamps that they use in the Rodecaster Pro 2 and the Rodecaster Video. Meaning, when you plug this in with USB, it's basically like you're plugging it into a Rodecaster Pro 2. And you also get the DSP. There is a DSP chip on this microphone, meaning you get to do all of the compression, all of the EQ and all that stuff on board through the Connect app, Rode Central. So you literally, like, from a USB perspective, I think this is one of the best mics for that. I'm not overly a massive fan of the sound of it raw. But again, I also say, like, no microphone should be going to air raw. Like no microphone should be going over in a broadcast scenario without some sort of treatment on it. So that's your own fault if you're running one of these and raw dogging it. But yes, I'm bringing that back. I mean, that term fits, Dylan. People are repurposing that and I'm getting in on it.
Right. People are definitely repurposing that.
So yeah, like anyone that complains, I'm like, well, why are you running with any mic raw in a broadcast situation? Wait, you okay there, Dylan? Oh, you're trying to put the microphone down, eh?
No, I was just about to like kind of add some more elements to my beverage here, and as I'm going to pour a bottle over top of the NTR, I'm like, you know what? No. We're gonna move. We're gonna move this. I'm not playing that game.
I don't think I can explain that to Rode, and they're gonna actually feel sympathy.
Hey, I'm sorry. I got some curacao on the element. Can you send me another one?
Do you think that's gonna sound a little muddy?
Do you think that might affect the performance?
King Paco, if you're gonna buy, if you don't have DSP effects, the pod mic, the original pod mic, just running raw into an interface is probably not going to appeal to you. Get yourself a pod mic USB for the USB effects. If you do have DSP, go ahead, get the original pod mic. They still look fantastic. You can even get the socks. You can get these new socks. I believe they still have them in different colors. So yeah, definitely.
Now, when we're talking about DSP, we mean specifically noise reduction, compression, EQ. Not in that order, but mostly in that.
Not in that order.
But those things.
I go to the gym for the awesome coffee shop and pastry counter. You think you have problems? I have a pastry problem in this house. So I've been going on a journey for the last 2 years. I'm trying to get down to a certain weight, just for my own health. And my wife likes to bring food home for me and just leave it on the counter. And so, like, if there's a bag of chips in the counter, I'll walk by and grab a handful as I'm walking by every time. It doesn't even occur to me. If there's pastries, I will eat them. We have to like hide food, and you don't have to hide it. You just have to make sure it's not on the counter. And yeah, so like if the pastries, I am dead to rights going to eat those. Pigtown, yes, presets are in Rode Central when you click on it, if I recall. Again, I'm going to actually hook it up, and I'm going to set that up after this because I remember doing it. Dimebag, what? I have no idea, buddy. Which phone should I purchase? Rode mic, pod mic.
Microphone.
I go with the Rode pod mic USB. Yeah, I don't know what your interface is. You're the Rode Vocaster 1. Just get the original pod mic if you got the Vocaster 1. Moody Dylan. Are you moody, Dylan?
Am I moody? No, God no.
Zeraphil, how's it going, man? I haven't seen you on stream for a while. Hey guys, what do you think about the Soothe 2 for VO and long form narration? I'm looking it up now.
Oh, that's a plugin. That's a plugin, I think, is it not?
Yeah, Oak Sound.
Yeah, that's a good tool. I've seen some videos on it. I think I had access to it once, and I used it on one thing. I don't know if it was a studio thing or what, but it was good. I remember it being good.
It's $297. Holy shit. So if as long as it doesn't introduce harshness or distortion on a raw signal, if you're a voiceover guy,
it's a live auto filter essentially. It sort of reads your incoming sort of voice and it EQs you live in real time to try to get you to a certain frequency response.
The only concern I have is if you're doing VO, usually you're recording raw. You're not recording with much on it unless you're producing it yourself. If you're sending VO to a producer, you kind of want it raw.
It depends.
Long form narration, probably.
If you're sending your VO to a video guy, which I feel like these days is a lot more often the case, especially with advertising stuff. It's usually some video guy. It's good to process it at least. Cut the noise out, get your voice sounding most like don't over compress it, but like I normalize my VO to -14 because I know that in the Apple Music and Spotify world, that's kind of the target they shoot for. So,
raw dogging, the good old days. And then Dimebag says, "Raw dog Dylan." I don't want to.
I'm good.
Dear Road, Captain Morgan is not compatible with your mic. Can you repair this? You guys have good customer service.
Some compatibility issues.
Which DSP effects? What about echo and delay? Echo and delay to me are
they're emphatic. They're not really for a live scenario. They're not really useful.
And it's one of the most confusing things when I see that on a podcast mixer, like Rodecaster Pro 2. I have no idea why they're on there. I guess if you want to mess around and sound like you're in a tunnel, like if you're
trying to mess around.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't understand those DSP effects. Like I don't understand that stuff being on them, but I mean, teach their own. I used to be 22 stone. I've gotten down to 17.5 stone. I need to drop 3 more stone. I don't speak in stone.
Yeah, I don't. I cannot reference stone.
I think stone is 20 pounds. What is it? 1 stone to 14 pounds. Okay. So, see, now I'm doing math, man. How dare you? Like, how dare you? Okay. All right. So I got that. I shared a picture. I haven't actually shared this picture with many people. I actually show people it once in a while when they're like, really? You're not that big. And then I show them a picture, and I don't think this will come across, but I can probably share it with the computer. And give me a second if you guys want to see what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
I was about the same size back in the day. If you're curious about where I'm at now, you go see my Twitter. I posted a picture of my back. It doesn't sound as bad as it is. I've worked really hard on the weights getting to a certain point. But let me just find this picture that used to be easier to find before. Here we are. Okay, and I'm going to airdrop this. That's why I love Apple. Airdrop to Dark's laptop. All right. I'm going to open this. Open. Then I'm going to share. Look at this. Look at me present.
Where do you go, bud?
Share screen. Look at me, man. I'm not old.
No.
There we go.
At all.
Share. Here, guys. In case you're wondering. I was about the same size. I'd say about 22 stone, give or take. If I'm going to speak in stone. I've come a long way. I used to be a tank. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where you're like, you kind of lose focus of that stuff, right? You forget how how you used to be, and then you look at the picture and you're like, holy crap.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, you got to go back every once in a while and go, holy shit.
New Jersey drones, Dimebag. I have no idea what's going on with those drones. End of the world, possibly. Who knows? Moody Dillon for lighting and sets, not so much for the Dillon. Okay, yeah. No, actually, this is Dillon's new angle.
Yeah. It's weird. I keep like looking at the camera because I'm so used to talking in front of me to the webcam, but now we're over here.
Now this is funny. Action says this confession time. I totally copy on streams how Aiden doesn't look directly into the cam on my live shows. I try to when I'm addressing the crowd. It's hard because I bought this is the Elgato thing, but the way it basically takes YouTube chat, it'll do Twitch chat, but I'm not on Twitch. It doesn't really do YouTube chat very well and doesn't work with StreamYard very well. I would really like some sort of plugin for StreamYard. I'm sure there probably is through the Elgato store. I really don't like how it looks. So if I had the ability to use this during a live stream, I would, but I don't. So everything's down here and I don't really have a way of lifting up my laptop. But yeah, I mean, this is not me trying to avoid eye contact. What the fuck is a stone? It's 14 pounds, SR375. Apparently. Because I'm a singer, I join many panels live on which I sing and I add vocal effects both for me and the stream with the Revelator IO24. Okay,
yeah,
so I know there.
Okay, no, yeah, that's actually a really good point. If you're a musician and you're a live streamer, those kind of quirky features that from a spoken word context we look at is like that's stupid.
Yeah.
As a musician, yeah, you'll in very sparse quantities, you'll get some mileage out of that stuff.
I am a rock. I am an island. That's poetic. Jerker. Sorry, I couldn't make it this week. Had to help a friend in need by. Can we get a jerker before the end of the night? You got yourself a jerker.
Jerker.
If I only loved Apple, I might not hit 22 stones. Oh, dude, pastries is my I host my own Mastodon. Oh, cool. I've seen a lot of content creators compare the SM7B to Fifine and Maono mics. What do you think? No, not even close. You know what? Fifine and Maono are good for people that can't afford to set up properly and want an uber disposable microphone that they can just plug in, and when it dies, you throw it away and it's e-waste. But for the amount of people complaining about the wireless series from Rode about being e-waste after a certain period of time, and yet they look at Fifine and Maono as anything other than e-waste, I find that hilarious. So yeah, I don't know. It's e-waste. It doesn't sound horrible. Like even Bandrew had the AM8 on his, and he's like, wow, this sounds amazing. And it actually sounds decent. It sounds good. It's not going to be a microphone that lasts. And it's also, when you critically start to listen to it, you're going to notice there's some distortion in the frequencies. And yeah, like it's, if you're broke and you can't afford a mic, sure. I wouldn't necessarily recommend anything from Fifine or Maono if you can afford better. It sounds horrible, but true. Anyways, Poseidon, I'm down 50 pounds since March. Good job, buddy. I'm also dumbstruck by how thinner I am now. Only 100 pounds to go. I've only got 20 pounds. The problem is I keep, like, I just got back from the gym. I go to the gym a lot and I lift a lot of weight, which it's hard to tell what weight I am. I go by pant sizes now. So I want to get down to 200 pounds. I'm currently 225. So you can look at my songs. If you don't see a Rode NT2A, then I'm using a Fifine 669D. Nice.
Wow. Nice.
We got, you made the best point about phones and people not taking the companies to task over non-replaceable batteries. Yeah, and I thought I was going to rub people the wrong way. I hadn't seen Curtis Judd's video on it where he's thanks to Rode and stuff like that. And I feel like people might have thought that I was kind of taking other creators to task over it, which I wasn't. It was more the people want somebody called the right to repair. People want the right to repair until they realize what the right to repair indicates to either the price of the phone or the price of the product or the usability of the product. So right to repair means you don't get the IPX rating on it as high as it usually is. You don't get certain little things.
when it comes to like one-off purchases or things that we think are like, oh, okay, I buy this piece and I have this for life. Like I buy this phone and I have this phone forever. Is companies now that they've kind of been fed the heroin of a subscription model, companies try to get these purchases to be as close to a subscription as possible, which means this has a shelf life.
Yep.
And batteries are a really convenient way of doing that, because batteries, at least with the current technology that is, mass deployed, like lithium ion batteries, there is a shelf life. There is a certain number of charge cycles, right? That is good for. So if they bake that into the device, so it's like next to impossible to change it. Like I had an Apple laptop that had a lithium ion battery die, and I'm like, okay, buy a new battery. The system management controller was tied to the serial number of the battery that was installed in the computer.
Well, Apple is one of the worst for this stuff, right? Like,
well, and
they're
I know,
right
like,
to repair.
Louis Rosman, right? Like, I mean, he will break apart their computers and going, why is there a cooling fan over an empty space? Like, what is going on? And so, yeah, I think, repairability is a big issue, but then the problem is, okay, what's the new business model? The new business model is charging up the ass again for technology, because now you could probably get 10 to 15 years out of it. So I'm going to charge you. That's kind of how I look at phones. Like if I can get 4 years out of a phone, I'm happy with that. It's made back its money. I can deal with that.
Yeah. Yep. Well, but
that basically amounts. It's a $2,000 phone, so that basically amounts to $500 a year for a phone.
And a lot of the people that are taking on the environmental impact of it are like, well, it's bullshit that this is going to be thrown into the garbage in 3 years when this doesn't work anymore. That's bullshit. And you're right. However, out of everybody using these, if these had replaceable batteries, how many people do you think responsibly dispose of the batteries when they're done? I can guarantee you, I know most people don't.
Yeah, I was going to say, I
batteries
do.
In the garbage.
I stash all of my electronic waste in batteries, because I'm a technology person, so there's a lot of that stuff. But I know that I'm in the minority. I know most people will just throw it in. In fact, I've seen it in the blue bin, like in the they're like, well, it's made of metal and plastic, so I guess it goes in. I'm like, no,
you're not wrong, but it's like
works.
I still have like a bin where I throw my batteries in. I use rechargeable batteries all the time as much as I can. But then it's like, like kids' toys over Christmas, and you're like, yeah, replaceable batteries. Where did all the batteries you get with the remote control? People just throw them away. And it's like,
there's some stuff too. Like, you and I know, Aiden, what is one handheld device in our houses that takes a ton of batteries? Game controllers.
God.
There's some things
PS5 doesn't.
There's some things that's not reasonable to get, like a remote control. I'd say most of the time a remote control, you could put a set of batteries and get like 3 years out of it, if not more. But first, there's some devices that chew through batteries. Like anything, like if you're a musician, get rechargeable 9 volts. You will save a lot of money if you have pedals. Right? Pedals, like Boss pedals and stuff. Like imagine being able to run your pedal board totally on batteries and not have an ounce of guilt for the batteries you're about to render. Yeah.
SR375 has a good point. The battery issue is complex. One point that is missing was that the volume of space for the battery is much larger for a non-replaceable battery than not. That said, user service could be better. So I'm big on user service as well. I know a lot of people took the video as like, I'm telling people to shut up and live with it. It's not. I actually I would love to see replaceable batteries in the wireless. I just know that it's not going to happen, because what's going to happen if you get replaceable batteries in these is one of two things. You're going to get a more expensive product that will last you longer. Granted, it will last you longer. But two, you're either going to get that at a much higher cost, or you're going to get the replacement of the battery at a much higher cost, which would just indicate the amount of money like your phone. Like if you wanted to replace a battery on your phone after 3 years, you can do that, but it's going to cost you $300. Is it worth it to replace your battery on a phone for $300? So that's the outlying question of, I don't believe most of humanity has the ability to not throw away batteries. So if we're going to rely on the company to replace your battery, so they will properly dispose of them, how much are they going to charge us to replace the batteries for the right to repair? Because right to repair isn't the user repairing it. It is just your ability to go to any user or any company and not have, like, if you go to get your phone repaired at a third party for Apple, they have to use Apple product. They have to charge X amount of money. There's quote unquote right to repair there, but it's not really at the same time.
No.
So
no,
I think it is very complex.
There's two different conversations here. There's whether or not specifically the argument between replaceable and non-replaceable batteries, which is, that is the complicated that's the complicated conversation for sure. The second conversation is, okay, do you like the little things that they put in specifically to make it so that you can't change the battery even if you need to, right?
Yeah.
A good example of this isn't a battery thing, but this is the Lifeboat connector. There used to be a port when Apple started including their motherboards like soldered in, or sorry, their hard drives soldered into their motherboard. They had a Lifeboat connector, which was a connector that you could use to get data off of the soldered in drive if the machine ever were to fail. There was a certain, I forget what year it was, but they removed that Lifeboat connector. There's no reason to do that other than to make money. It's the only reason to do that. You put R&D into specifically making money. And so those little things are, again, like tying a laptop, and they say, well, it's for security. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't expect my laptop to be hacked through its battery connector. All right?
Yeah. So Hassan has a great question. I've got to go soon. We actually have people over going for dinner, but I want to get through a couple of these first. I don't mind wireless mics not having replaceable batteries. They can, though. Zoom F2 has it, and it's tiny, but how come Interview Pro and VideoMic NTG have built-in batteries? There's two things you need to realize about both the Interview Pro and the VideoMic NTG. They are prosumer products, meaning they're considered on the cheaper end. So if you go buy, and I know not a lot of people are going to like when I say that, like the Rode Interview Pro is not professional series wireless microphones.
No, and to that, the F2 is,
but that's the thing. That's the difference. F2 is something people are going to rely out on the field. And somebody messaged me this on the video, and they're like, well, I like to change out my batteries on the fly and I need to be able to make sure I've got enough battery when I'm doing a shoot or I'm doing this. And it's like, well, then you're buying professional series products. Yeah. You're not buying prosumer product. And this isn't anything against the Wireless Pro or the Wireless Go 2 or Go Series 3. These are for content creators, man. These are for people that are shooting TikToks along with their YouTube videos. And these aren't for people shooting blockbuster cinema movies. And it's not like, that's the point. So you're saving money on these. These are supposed to be the cheap end. These are attainable wireless gear. And a lot of people, well, that's expensive. No, it's not. Go look at the actual expensive wireless gear when you're spending into the thousands for it. That's the professional stuff that has swappable batteries. So that's why when you see like stuff like the Interview Pro and the VideoMic NTG, and people are like, well, because it's not meant for professional use on that level. You can use it professionally, but you're spending more money if you're going to be buying that. Like the Yellowtech microphone, that was the same handheld microphone, had replaceable batteries. And that's the thing, right? Like you're looking at one that's providing it for probably radio station or TV use. And then you have the other one that's providing it for TikToks and for, somebody running around on the street with a microphone in the face, right? That's the Interview Pro right there. So that's where people have a hard time drawing the line between consumer, prosumer, and pro. Well, you got to figure out where it is.
It's the difference between kind of will it work and mission critical, right?
Yes.
When you need to, when there's like a sort of a business objective that is between you and the finish line here, and this product gets in the way of that, then no, I need a way to get back up and running quickly. Yeah. And that's why I think, as you get into like really high end gear, in fact, I've got like that little video monitor that sent me back actually about the same amount as my desktop display. You know, that Aiden's seen, it's got the battery just hanging off the back of it. Like it's, you know, changing the batteries, like changing a mag on that thing. And you know, that's the difference, right? Is that stuff, you know, you get up and go. Whereas with the Interview Pro, yeah, maybe, you know, I mean, if you keep it plugged in all the time, you should be okay. But
I gotta get to SR375s. Samsung S5 Neo, which I owned, was the last phone with replaceable batteries in the Samsung line. It's depressing, I know. KGO says, thanks for helping me. I've been watching you for a while, and your channel really has great value and deserves more attention. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Great.
Plus, you have excellent decisions and opinions.
Nice.
There's a lot of people that disagree. That's I appreciate that. That is actually very high praise. Thank you very much. Nuclear batteries are coming. Good for 37 years.
Strontium, man. Strontium batteries.
I've heard stories about that as well. Like we're getting into the Fallout series, if that's what we're talking about.
Yep, the old beta voltaics.
Batteries are a constant, ever revolving technology, right? Like they're constantly trying to find storable energy and finding ways to like good on them. We need that. Until that happens though, I think we're stuck in a cycle of a replaceable cycle every 5 years. And it is a complex situation. It's very complex. And somebody tried telling me that the EU put out the new law where you can't have everything has to be replaceable by user, and it's not. That's not the EU law. The EU law is basically companies have to do exactly what Rode said they were going to do. Basically offer you like this battery is going to last X amount of time. It should be lasting a certain period of time. And if it's the company also has to offer a way to dispose of the product. But it's not like every product has to have a back that pops off and a battery that can be replaced. Could you even imagine? I missed this. Xbox controller has replaceable batteries, but you can buy a rechargeable battery pack, and I think that's the best case. Yeah, I did that. Yeah. I purchased a bunch of Eneloop batteries for it.
Yep.
It's the right of the repair shop to get the schematic and parts to even provide them to you if you want to break it yourself. Yeah. And that's the thing. The right to repair is not necessarily the ability to repair. And people laugh at that, but it's kind of true, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you kind of, you take it on your own risk. My partner had a Nintendo Switch Lite, and it started, getting to the point where it would last like a half an hour on a full charge. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. So look it up, what the battery is that goes in it, get a new battery, pop it open, saying, I've changed batteries on stuff before. This can't be crazy. They've like hot glued it into the sled that the battery is stuck in, which is sandwiched between lots of very sensitive things. And so I'm like, okay, well, this is a great place to dump a bunch of alcohol. And somehow, I got the battery out, put a new battery in, plugged it in the right way, and somehow it still got bricked. And I'm like, well, okay. I accepted that. So what did I do? I bought a new one because I accepted the risk that could happen by fucking with it. And I fucked with it. So.
Okay. Before we get to SR375, I do want to point something out. And this is Dimebag. The prosumer get to take one in the rectum, bend over prosumer.
Pretty much.
It's an interesting perspective. Yes, you're right. But then at the same time, when you have prosumer, which I would put stuff like the Rodecaster Pro 2 into, that's prosumer. But then people look at that and they're like, oh my God, it's so expensive. Why would that should be cheaper? The Rodecaster Duo is too expensive. I can't afford that. And it's like, well, what do you want? Right? Like the Rodecaster Pro, if it's $500, or not Rodecaster Pro, the Rode Wireless Pro, if it's $500, well, that's too expensive. Well, there's a certain line that every company has to kind of ride when it comes to that stuff, right? If Rode puts out the Rodecaster video, and how many people in my mentions going like, that's overpriced, the Rodecaster video for what it is? What do you mean it's overpriced?
Yeah.
It's not. It's actually kind of well priced in the market when you see what it does. So it's kind of like this constant juggle. I don't envy companies like Rode when they're releasing this stuff and people are like, you can get 4K output on 4K inputs. It's like, well, not really. but cool. You know, oh, and it's cheaper. Not really, but cool. So there's a lot of like varying degrees of intelligence kind of weighing in on this stuff. So I don't know. I find that it's a very tough field to be in as a creator of products like Rode would be. So like prosumer and pro, Rode's I don't think is ever going to release a pro series of Rodecaster Pro 2. Like the money it would cost would, like, I think the Proest Rodecaster video is, if you want the actual pro version, you're spending $4,000, like the pro version, right? So it's this juggling act. I don't know. It's really mind numbing when you start to get into the weeds with a lot of this stuff. So I just say I see both points. And SR375, I really wanted to get this one. I want to point out that Mission Critical requires a hard line, no batteries. Men. Which I will never forgive Sony for releasing their A7C2 without hardline batteries. That is absolute
I would
bullshit.
actually argue Mission Critical needs both. It needs backup and then mains, because if you just have AC, like, you know, I just had a major, like a Ward Beck broadcast desk on my desk recently, and it has a dual redundant power supply, specifically with the idea that one of those goes to a backup circuit that's powered by a UPS or a generator, and one of those goes to the utility. And the idea that you have both of those at the same time. So if one of those goes down, like you got to do some generator maintenance or whatever, you have 100% uptime, basically.
Yeah. So this is fascinating. King Paco says your channel's teaching a lot. I appreciate that, brother. And he says you would not likely find any Rode products in use in a major studio, but you recorded in a studio full of Rode. You would not know by sound. You will see Rode microphones in a pro studio. Radio stations started using Rodecaster Pros. Those things you do see. So a good example of what I'm trying to talk about is not in any way telling Rode that you're just prosumer crap. No. When you look at what would be broadcast professional, I was looking at the old Air One board by
Wheatstone.
Wheatstone. What is it's
Audio Arts
Engineering. Yep. Air One. It is a control board. That's all it is. And it costs $1,500. It's just a control board. It has faders to control. It just controls. There's no preamps on it. There's nothing. It just controls, and it's $1,500. And that's where, like, a lot of people that don't work in a professional environment don't understand that next line of where prosumer turns into pro. And what turns prosumer into pro tends to be that kind of hard line of needs to work all the time. There's no fail.
Well, I was gonna say it's the difference between it shouldn't fail and it cannot fail.
Yes, exactly.
Right? And that's the difference. So things that, again, like a dual redundant power supplies, that's a pro tier feature, because it's assumed that, hey, you know, if you're an amateur and you have a live stream go down, you know, people aren't losing their jobs over that. But if you're CNN, I mean, people are losing their jobs regardless, but like in that particular case, but you know, and so when you have those scenarios where, again, this cannot fail, you know, I got a mixture of things. There's some prosumer stuff in this studio, but a lot of it is in the ridiculous price tier because it's stuff that is not meant to fail.
Okay, last one before we go, King Paco. If I buy a new microphone, should I purchase a new interface? You don't have to. So your interface is relative to what you're doing. If you're just doing a podcast and you're not making any money on it and you own a Vocaster, the Vocaster is perfectly fine. If you're not making money on it, don't get into an upgrade fiasco with your products. You're wasting money if you're not making money on it. If you start to see money trickle in on your content, let's say your YouTube channel gets monetized and now you're making $100 a month. Now you can say, okay, if I spend $1,200 on an interface in a year, that's paid off. And then you can justify that purchase.
No, and when you do get to the point where you have a budget to upgrade something, you need to do a critical analysis of your setup, and you need to figure out, what is my weakest point? What is the weakest point in the studio? Is it hard drive space? Are you constantly having to move crap around because you don't have enough disk space? Well, then you need to get a new disk. Like,
I feel attacked.
You can upgrade. You can upgrade everything in your studio.
Yeah.
Every single point is upgradable. And so when you're trying to triage that stuff, because, you know, unless you fall into a $10 million lottery win, chances are, you know, you're kind of stuck upgrading one thing at a time. And so go for the lowest hanging fruit. If you have a lot of echo in your room, get treatment, for God's sake. Get acoustic treatment.
Yeah. Like, and that's the thing, right? Like, if you've got extra money, you've got an interface that's working, you got a decent mic, spend the next few $100s on treatment.
If you buy a new mic and you find that suddenly you've got a noisy, like you've got a noise problem because you bought an SM7B and you can't drive it, okay, well then your next upgrade is something to reduce the noise. That could be a new preamp, that could be a new interface, or that could be a cloud lifter. But again, that just helps you triage those upgrades.
Okay, I gotta go. Dimebag says, I just got to 1,000 subs. I need watch hours. Come to my channel and play the Darren Sings playlist and let me sing to you. Hey guys, if you need something to listen to this weekend, there you go. And Gear Junkies in the house. Hey fellas, happy holidays. Cheers to you as well. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays. Happy New Year to you. We will see you in January. Go drink a bunch of eggnog and rum and enjoy yourself over the Christmas. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Cheers, guys.
Catch you later.